yell, and I'm assuming that that's the only way you guys are going to hear me. This car's a little bit louder than my Passat is, so I'm going to do my best to kind of narrate what's going on for you. This is definitely a modified Beetle. As far as exactly what, I don't really remember. The dealership I work for bought it already modified, but I want to say it dynoed somewhere in the 150 horsepower range, which by today's standards doesn't sound like a lot, but in a little tiny car like this is absolutely awesome to drive. You really get the experience of feeling the road. There's no power steering. The brakes aren't super boosted like they are on new cars, so you definitely get all the experience of being on the road. The shifter's in like an awkward way up spot. I'm actually in the back of the line of probably 10 air-cooled Beetles. You know, it's funny to be in a car like this and compare it to something that, you know, a new car would be, and it's not even close to the same experience. You hop in a new car, you hit the key, you fire it right up, and you go, and that's just what you do. And something like this, it's totally different. It requires attention. It requires, truth be told, it requires a little bit of love to drive. You can't just throw the key in, jam it, and drive and go. By the way, we are on our way to a toy drive in at a Porsche dealership not too far from where my dealership is. So let's see, there's an all-track leading the way, a really beautiful red all-track. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10th Beetle, and then one behind me. And then you'll see maybe at some point a Ferrari Mondial in the background. He's kind of bringing up the rear. First gear is all jerk, 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 but when you start to get some momentum and start moving and hit really about 20 miles an hour, it does get quite a bit easier. It's just such an interesting experience. It's all of your senses are really awake and exposed to what's going on. You can't kind of just cruise, right? You have to, your body has to be in the right position. It doesn't have a seat belt. There's no backrest, so I can't just chill and lean back my head. I have to be sitting upright, which makes for a great ab workout. You know, the bolsters of the seats are non-existent, so you can't just rely on the seat holding you in place. You have to rely on you and your strength to hold you in place. Toys for